Hey guys, how you doing? It's Dominique from Nightlight Candles again, where we're taking you through starting from the very beginning stages of starting a new candle business. Again, you might be at a point in your process where you're at the same spot I am, which is just a couple months into creating a candle business. Um, or you might have an established candle business, or you're thinking about starting a candle business. But the premise of my channel is I want to take you from the very beginning stages right where I'm at, and we're either going to be a success together or a failure together. But I hope we can learn from each other. Please, in the comments, write any suggestions or tips that can help other candle makers. I want this to be a community. But today we're going to talk about the 5 things that I've learned, or 5 mistakes I've made this far into my candle business journey. All right, so mistake number one that I made when I started my candle journey was having too many different sizes of candles. So I started out with a small tin like this, and then eventually went to a small jar like this, and now I have our 12-ounce candle like this. Now, this played a significant delay in how I did things as in my candle business. It was too much, right? So this little tin, and first off, I started with all tins. Okay, so and tins are great and they're more cost effective, but I did want to have more of a luxury um, feel to my candles, and I didn't really get that with the tins, right? In this little 2-ounce tin that I was making candles in to begin, one, for some reason, it didn't have a scent like I wanted it to. It was just working a little weird, which is probably my fault. But two, these weren't really selling like I wanted them to. And when I was doing my like first vendor fair, the candles that sold the most were the big 12-ounce candles. And I had a bunch of these small jars and these tins, and they weren't selling. So now what I did was I just stuck strictly to the 12-ounce candle. I'm not doing these small jars anymore or the tins anymore, um, just because this is what I found during my vendor fairs that customers like the most. Now, they are the most expensive for obvious reasons. They're bigger, but they last a long time and they're a great gift. Now, and furthermore, these smell up the entire house. These are absolutely awesome. When you get down to the smaller sizes, this might, you know, be good for a small bedroom. These small tins are maybe good for like a bathroom. However, and it was very hard to keep up with all the sizes, right? I was wasting a lot of wax trying to build inventory for each of these sizes. It was just getting to be too much. So now I have one size and it's easy for me to maintain. And again, the customers love that. Mistake number two that I learned from was cure, cure, cure. Let your candles cure, right? So I remember when I was making my first candle and I was testing, I was so excited that I made this candle and it looked great. And the cold throw was very good as well. I waited till it literally, dried up, and I went and burned it right away. And it was not giving a hot throw at all. And I was so confused. I was like, I don't understand why this is not working. And that's when I discovered curing. So now, it says to let your candle sit for a couple days. It's a whole process of, whatever the molecules. I'm not a scientist. I don't know exactly what it does, but the more your candle sits, the more, I guess, hot throw that it's going to give you. So now I have a standard practice of letting my candles cure for at least 2 weeks or at least 1 week, ideally 2 weeks. Um, but when I first started, I was just so excited to burn these candles, and they weren't giving off a hot throw at all. Super frustrating. So let it cure, let it cure. If you can let it cure for even longer, that's even better, in my opinion. I think you'll give a really good hot throw at that point. Mistake number three that I think I made when I was first starting my candle business was not having enough products, like a different variations of products, right? So when I first started, I wanted it to just be strictly candles, and I was going to offer those three sizes. But I realized some people, they don't like open flames in their house or just whatever. So I have kind of rebranded in a sense to just be a scent company, right? So I want to provide you with awesome scents in any variation that I can, right? So we now offer the wax melts, and this one right here is our winter night wax melt. It smells like just like a Christmas tree. People are obsessed with this one. But, I do the 6 piece wax melt. It's cheap. It's one of my cheapest products, so I only sell it for $5. And again, we use a coconut soy wax, which is a little bit more expensive. And I've seen people selling, coconut soy wax melts for like $7. I like to keep it cheap for my customers, as cheap as I possibly can, but it still gives me room to run discounts, etc. But the wax melts are great, and it's a healthy margin on these as well. Super cheap to make because these are plastic as well. Then I started offering room sprays. So the room sprays, I just launched these probably like a month and a half ago, and absolute winners. This one is our golden hour room spray, and I started out with the 4 ounce, and this is a glass bottle, so very, very, I guess, luxury in essence. It's a very luxury scent. I absolutely love this. It's our best seller. Um, and then I wanted to offer a smaller size. So we sell these for $10. Again, I see people selling these for about 14 to $15. You have to do what's best for you. But I like to keep it cheap for my customers, as cheap as I can possibly make it. So I sell these for 10, and I sell the 1 ounce ones for $4. Um, and again, a great addition. So I only sold the 4 ounce for a long time, and I wanted. My wife was telling me, "Hey, why don't you make something a little bit smaller so I can like stuff it in my purse or etc." And I said that's actually a great idea. This is why I love feedback from people. So made the 1 ounce one, and you know the calculation that I use for these, the recipe I use, it makes 16 1 ounce uh, bottles per um, time I make the stuff. So these are great addition, and people absolutely love them. So if you don't have room sprays in your, I guess, collection, highly recommend it, because people do love them. My wife brought them to work, and her coworkers absolutely love it, and I've been able to sell a few to her coworkers as well. All right. So mistake number four I made was branding. So when I first started my candle business, I literally had no idea about labels or anything like that. So I literally, when I first started, just had like my logo, and I would put it on the candles. And so people didn't know the scent, they didn't know anything. They would just have to come smell it, right? And that is not ideal. So I then went back to the drawing board, so just started doing a little bit research on labels, saw what needed to be on the labels, etc. And then I came up with this one. So this was my very first label creation after my logo debacle. You see here, but it has the scent name on it, and it's pretty good, but then I wanted to start creating some more luxury scents, and I wanted a label that gave it a luxury feel. And then I went to this label. So it has like a gold foiling. It's a little hard to see on camera. It's a little bit better in person. But I really love this. Love these. It gives it a nice touch, and I think it really just brings out the actual scent of the candle. Um, yeah, these smell absolutely amazing. So we use these for our what we call our Castle Deluxe candles. Right now we have two luxury scents, and now for our main label, we're going to something like this. It's a little bit more minimalistic. Now the only difference is this one is themed. So you'll see the Fruit Loops on here. So if we have a fun scent, we will theme it. However, we are just going to stick to more of a minimalistic scent. And again, this is where feedback comes in handy. So my sister-in-law actually told me, because I put a poll out there um, about themed labels and just minimalistic labels. And she made a good point saying, the minimalistic labels go well inside the house at any time of year, right? So it doesn't matter what it is, it looks like it's supposed to be there. So I really, kind of took that to heart and decided to stick with more of the minimalistic labels. And it's gender neutral, you're not, again, I like my candles to be for everyone, men, women, doesn't matter. And I feel like this is the best way to really do that and to reach the majority of people. But yeah, branding is huge, and now so actually this will be my first vendor fair I'm doing coming up with the new minimalistic labels. So I will definitely let you guys know how that goes. All right, guys. So mistake number 5 that I've made as I'm new to this candle journey is marketing, marketing, marketing. It is so difficult, a lot more difficult than I anticipated it being. So, one, when you're trying to sell online, but you have a scent based business, it's so hard to kind of describe the scents so people get intrigued enough to want to buy it off of your website. And I was throwing so much money away in like Google ads and TikTok ads and Facebook ads, etc. Um, and it was just such a waste of money. I didn't really get any sales from it. So, and again, I'm still failing at this part, to be clear. Um, so, what I've done now is I've taken back the marketing significantly. So, most of my sales now are straight from word of mouth or, going to these vendor fairs. And I'm hoping that it starts to trickle. So instead of looking to grow super quick, I want to grow organically. And so that way, I'm just kind of taking out the Facebook ads and the Google ads, etc. It didn't work for me. And again, I'm new to it, so I could be doing it completely wrong, right? So like I said, you're in the beginning stages with me, and there are a ton more mistakes that I've made and I am learning from, and we will detail those in a later video. But if this was helpful for you, if you learned something from it, please, like the video, subscribe, and let's grow this candle community together. Love you guys. Thank you.